Hey everybody, it's Brad in my kitchen. Got this new camera, so I figured, well, you know what? I'm going to show you how I have come to make what is known as the ultimate grilled cheese sandwich. It's a favorite amongst everybody here, and anytime we're having soup and grilled cheese, it's a good night, because you can pretty much couple the sandwich with any kind of soup you want. We like tomato soup, which is pretty classic for the grilled cheese, but this is how the ultimate grilled cheese is made. Good news, I have a camera person now. Say hi, Cam.
Hi.
Hi. So the most important thing to remember when you're making the ultimate grilled cheese sandwich is the fluffy Wonder White bread that you had when you were a child with the American cheese is not what you're going to use for this. You have to use sourdough bread that you can get from the store. Just get the pre-sliced, big, giant loaf type stuff. That's going to work out the best, because if you use the squishy white bread, it's just not going to be the same. In terms of cheese, we are not cheese snobs here. Trader Joe's Mexican blend is the best because it's got sharp cheddar and it's also got some milder stuff in there, so it tastes really, really good. We like to put sliced tomatoes on our grilled cheese sandwich. That's an option for you, but I highly recommend it. And then in terms of ingredients, there's garlic, because garlic is everything. There is Italian seasoning, because Italian seasoning is awesome. And then freshly ground pepper. That's it on ingredients. Now, I'm a huge fan of pre-peeled garlic because I hate peeling garlic. Peeling garlic sucks, so we're not going to do that. So we're going to use the pre-peeled stuff. And what we're building here is what essentially is going to go on the pan before we put the bread on it. This is actually going to go on the outside of the bread. So the garlic is going to sit in some oil for a little bit. And then when we actually do the sandwiches, the oil garlic mixture is going to be allowed to caramelize on the outside of the bread, and it's going to be very, very good. So that's going to go in there just like that. We're going to take just plain old olive oil. We're going to put a fairly healthy amount in there. Say about that much. And then we are going to take our, give the messy drawer. We're going to take what we're going to spread it around with in there, and we're going to stir this up, and we're going to let it sit because we do want that garlic to infuse in that olive oil a little bit. But again, this is going to go on the outside of the bread and make it crispy, crunchy, and delicious. Okay, now I've got my tomatoes here ready to cut. What I'm going to be cooking on actually is going to be this grilling surface, and you really want to have this starting off hot because you want to be able to crisp up the outside of the bread a little bit, and if you throw everything on there while it's cold, the oil's just going to saturate into the bread and it's not going to be very good at all. So while we're getting the rest of the stuff prepped over here, we are going to go ahead and let that thing heat up. So I'm going to go ahead and wash these tomatoes. Of course, absolutely, of course, you can use whatever tomatoes you want. Nice beefsteak tomato, anything is good. You just want to make sure that when you're slicing these, you actually slice them fairly thin. Because we are building a grilled cheese sandwich here, not a hoagie, and if we've got the tomatoes too thick, it'll just make the sandwich kind of unruly because we have to grill both sides and all that fun stuff. So when you're slicing your tomatoes, don't go crazy thick, just try and go a little thin.
What kind of knife do you have?
I am using a Shun Santoku 7-inch blade. It's folded steel. It's very nice. I got it for my Christmas present from some chick. I don't remember who it was, but it was awesome. Okay, so you can see I just went ahead and sliced up all my tomatoes. Grilling surface is getting close to ready. And what you're going to end up doing here, guys, is you're going to kind of use the garlic as a tool to know when this thing is hot enough to throw everything on there. Because what you're looking to do is get it spread out, because you want a nice even spread on the garlic. Not necessarily a lot of oil. You just want to get some more garlic in there, so I'm going to kind of strain that out a little bit. But we want a nice even spread on the garlic, nice even spread on the oil if we can get it. And you can see I got a nice sizzle going there, so that's telling me that this is nice and hot like I want it. What we're going to do after we get the garlic spread out pretty well is we're going to go ahead and put our base layer of bread on there. So this will be one sandwich. This will be one sandwich. This will be one sandwich on there. Okay, and the first layer that you're going to put on there is, of course, your cheese, because you want to start to get that melting right away. This is a grilled cheese sandwich after all. there. Open a freshie right here. Now, of course, the part you need to be careful of when you're doing grilled cheese is if your grill is too hot, you'll burn the bread before the cheese gets melted. So you do have to kind of keep tabs on that a little bit. But you're going to load up a pretty fair amount of cheese on there. You can see we got the tomato soup heating off the side over there. Okay, so you don't need to go ridiculous with the cheese. If you're just a cheese freak, like some people, you can put a lot of cheese on there. And before we put the tomatoes in there, we're going to go ahead and sprinkle some Italian seasoning on the cheese. Thusly. And then we're going to do a little fresh ground pepper inside there. That. And then start dealing the tomatoes on there. And again, guys, this is why you can see you don't want to have these too thick. You want a nice, smooth, even layer of tomato. If you put really, really thick cut ones on there, you're going to put the top piece of bread on there, you're going to try to flip it, and it's going to create problems, and you just don't want to have to deal with that. So we load those up there. Get every little nook and cranny filled with tomatoey goodness. Right there. And then you restack your bread on there. And on there. That bread is going to help insulate a little bit any heat that's coming through the bread on the bottom and help melt the cheese. And then what you're going to do is just, again, without saturating it with oil, if you can help it, you're just going to put a light glazing of oil and try and get some garlic chunks on there if you can. Some garlic on there. Strain the oil in a little bit. Just get the garlic chunks spread across there. Alright, so then we're going to let this cook for a little bit. Because the bread is fairly thick, you have to make sure, and it's just easy to check once in a while, just that you're not burning. You can just kind of lift that up under there real quick and just make sure that you don't have any burnage going on. But these are going to have a little bit of time, so we're good to go. So we'll check back when we have to flip. Okay. So, these have been sitting on here a little while. I just did a quick check and these are about ready to flip. Honestly, people, the easiest way to do this, you have to get your fingers dirty when you're cooking, is just slide it up underneath, hold the top, and flip it over. Okay, and what you're looking for and what you have to be careful of with the heat setting here is you really don't want to burn this too much. You can see what it did to the garlic. It got it nice and crisped up on there, caramelized some stuff in there. It's all going to be crunchy and good, and you're just looking for that kind of tough shell golden brown without it being black on there, because everybody knows one of the best parts of a grilled cheese sandwich is that nice crispy outside as you bite into the cheesy goodness on the inside. So I've just flipped these over. We're going to try and get it to the same setting on the other side. Just depending on how thick your bread is and things like that, it might take a couple of flips just to make sure that everything in the middle gets cooked nice and evenly through and heated. Alright, so since the flip, it's been about 5 minutes, maybe a little bit less. And again, guys, you can just kind of give them a quick check. Make sure you're not burning through here, but they're getting pretty close. I'm going to go ahead and pop this one back over. Hopefully just get a little more extra melt on that cheese on the other side. This part of my griddle cooks a little hotter than down here, so I kind of have to do that a little bit. Because this one, as you can see, is not quite as done, but we're going to actually go ahead and flip that one back over. We're just going to give it one more turn on this cheese side just to make sure that that cheese in there is nice and melty. And you're good to go. Just make sure you don't burn that other side. Pop these suckers off here, cut them in half so they're not quite so unruly to eat, and dip them in that tomato soup, and it's going to be a little slice of heaven for you. So that's the ultimate grilled cheese sandwich.